Unresolved problem segment tonight. The vital state of Ohio remains very close in the presidential polls, but there are charges that the organization Acorn has been trying to cheat in the Buckeye State. As you may know, authorities in Nevada raided Acorn headquarters last week looking for evidence of voter fraud. And in Cleveland, Fox News correspondent Eric Shawn found a man who says Acorn illegally signed him up to vote.
What did the Acorn people do?
They was trying to get signatures so they can make their money, and I was trying to help them.
How many times did you sign up?
Like 73 times.
How many?
73 times.
Joining us now from Columbus, Ohio, Fox News analyst John Kasich. With Ohio,
73 times, Bill. 73 can you believe it?
Sure I can. I mean, that game has been played since George Washington was president, but now it's got some big money behind it. Usually it was the precinct commanders. You know this. I mean, you're a congressman. You know the money on the street and the precinct commanders and all of this stuff. But now when you get millions and millions of dollars behind an organization like Acorn, which is three prongs. It has voter registration. It has a mortgage component, get mortgages into the inner cities. And then it has a lobbying group in Washington that intimidates politicians to do what Acorn wants them to do. But the voter fraud, by far and away, in a place like Ohio, Fox News Opinion Dynamics today has Obama 50, McCain 48. All the polls have it very, very close. Both guys need the state. If you have 10,000 people voting fraudulently, that could make the difference. So my question to you, John, is what are the Ohio authorities going to do to reassure people in the Buckeye State and other people around the country it's a legitimate election?
Well, first of all, Bill, out here in Ohio, we don't have anything called walking around money. I've never seen anything like that in the precincts. But what's happening here is this radical left-wing organization is yanking people out of homeless shelters, people walking on the street, trying to get them to register. And you heard this guy said, they talked him into it 73 times. There is a deluge of new registrants going into the Board of Elections. And the Board of Elections is it's like a tsunami in these boards of elections. The problem we have is the Secretary of State, who's supposed to be in charge of honest elections, will not help the local county boards of elections to be able to figure out who's legitimate and who's not.
What does that mean?
This
what
means
does that mean? First of all, who is the Secretary of State?
That means she is not in checking whether these people are legitimate through their driver's licenses or through their Social Security numbers. She is not telling the local boards in the counties, like the county where I live in Columbus. She doesn't say, hey, I found 2,000 people who are suspect. She's not telling them that. She has it on this big database, and they're not able to access this stuff.
Hold on for a minute.
So there is mass confusion with these county boards of elections.
What's her name?
Jennifer Bruner.
And she's a
Democrat? Been at war with the county board of... Bill, the problem is she's not helping them at all.
Okay, is she a Democrat,
She's not
John?
helping them, and there's chaos.
Is she a Democrat, John?
She is.
Okay. Just stay with me here. Okay. So we have a Secretary of State who's a Democrat who's not coordinating with the individual counties to tip them off when fraudulent voters may be on the rolls. In Ohio, is there ID when you go to vote? Do you have to show an ID?
No, you don't have to show. You don't have to show everything. You don't have to certify it. And when somebody's a new registration in Ohio, normally the Board of Elections would send a mail out to your house, and if it doesn't come back, you get knocked off the rolls. There's not that time to get this done. And the Secretary of State knows when things are not matching up. But she is not telling the Board of Elections, hey, we got trouble here. And so they're kind of walking around in circles. And it may mean, Bill, that the results of this election don't get decided until well after the election. And it may mean that some of these people being registered by Acorn could slip through and cast votes that are fraudulent.
All right. Now, you've already had advanced voting in Ohio, correct? There was a window, I believe it was last week, that Ohioans could vote. I think that window is shut now, right?
Well, I don't know if people can same-day register today. I'm not sure about that, but there were a lot of people that did, and they apparently are going to segregate these ballots. So then we're going to have a debate over time about tainted ballots. Much of this could be resolved if, in fact, there had been cooperation between the Secretary of State and all the county boards of elections.
So what you're telling me is a mess already in Ohio, 3 weeks to go before the vote. It's already out of control. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, it's out of control, Bill, and this election is going to be very, very close. So the person watching tonight, think if you went out and put your family on the line, spent a couple years running for office, then you got a radical group whose offices were raided by the FBI in Nevada. They're under investigation all over the country. They're registering people. One guy says today 73 times. And now this election is going to be, it's going to be perhaps clouded with some very serious fraud allegations and maybe some fraud.
All right, we're going to call the secretary tomorrow, and hopefully she'll come on and reply. And if she won't, we'll let everybody know. John, thanks very much. We appreciate it. We come